Just without wasting any time, like I would like to just tell Evie to start this regarding the college information, right? So first, जति पनि issue तपाईहरुलाई queries हरु छ, I guess all of you have got the note down, हैन? Note down गर्नुस्. In between, after the presentation, definitely one by one, हामीले तपाईले चाहिँ this question answer round मा चाहिँ हामीले जे जस्तो confusion हरु हुन्छ, we'll sort it out. Okay? Okay.
Hey, so namaste. Thank you ever so much for coming. I'd like to start by saying Happy New Year. And I'm expecting that some of you might have made some New Year's resolutions. So maybe you've set a goal to travel somewhere new, maybe you've got a goal to extend your education, or maybe you've decided that you want to combine the two and you want to study abroad. So I'm going to use my time to explain to you why you should not only travel to Canada, because it's a great country, but also it's the perfect place for you to study. Okay, so starting just with the basics, got a map of the world here and blocked out our Canada and Nepal. So Canada is the largest country in North America. It shares one of the largest borders in the world with America down in the south, and then it stretches all the way up into the Arctic Circle. So it's a very large country. And Nepal over here in Central Asia, as you all know, this is where we are. And so the distance between the two is around 6,500 kilometers. So it's roughly a day's air travel. So it's quite far away, and this is going to mean that there'll be a lot of cultural differences and a lot more for you to learn and explore during your time in Canada. So looking a little bit closer, in Canada there are 10 different states, and as I said before, it stretches up into the Arctic Circle, so due to climatic reasons, the majority of the 33.5 million people live along this southern stretch along here. So we've got Vancouver in British Columbia, Ottawa in Ontario, the capital city, Toronto, where one of our colleges is based, and I'll talk a little bit more about, along with Winnipeg, Manitoba, where we've got 2 of our colleges. So it's a very large country. Yeah, of course, come sit down. And this is going to mean there's going to be a lot of new places for you to visit, new things for you to experience. There's some beautiful national parks where there's mountain ranges like the Rockies. So if you're feeling a bit homesick being away from the Himalayas, hopefully the Rockies will be a nice alternative, along with some beautiful cities. So you've got the famous city of Toronto, that's Vancouver up there, and those large sports teams such as ice hockey teams. You can, in your spare time, go watch the Jets play the Maple Leafs. And there'll also be different kinds of food, so you're not going to be able to find too much dal bhat, but hopefully you might get a little taste of some poutine, which is some chips with cheese pad and gravy. Not my particular favourite, but a lot of people love it and it's very popular in Canada. So why should you study here? This is a research piece done by the International Development Programme, where Student Perceptions ranked Canada as the top international study destination for students. So this chart basically ranks countries from worst to best, and along here in the key there's the different countries. So Canada is picked out as the light blue colour, and then you've got Australia in the orange, New Zealand in the blue, UK in red, and USA in the green. So in the top category you've got affordability, and Canada, as you can see, comes out first. This is very important because you need to not only be able to stay there, but you need to be able to afford to do so. And this accounts for tuition fees and cost of living, so this ranking is a combination of those two. Secondly is quality of education. So USA and UK come out first and second, but Canada comes out ahead of Australia and ahead of New Zealand in quality of education. Thirdly, you've got safety, and this is very important because this will affect your student lives greatly. When you're going so far away from home, you might be far away from your family, you need to be able to feel safe. This is due to low crime rates in Canada. It's due to very progressive political attitudes towards immigration, towards LGBTQ issues, and towards other social aspects. So the people in Canada are very welcoming towards immigrants and students like yourselves. So next, Canada again comes out top in graduate employment opportunities. So should you be wanting to obtain a permanent residency, a graduate opportunity of employment is very important, and Canada has plenty of those. The economy in Canada is thriving and there are lots of jobs available. And lastly, visa requirements. So again, Canada comes out ahead of Australia and all of the other countries. Canada has set itself a target of having 450,000 international students in Canada by the year 2022. So this means that they're going to be needing to get a lot more visas for international students. So again, it'll be easier for you to gain access and then easier again to get your permanent residency. And this research paper is backed up empirically. So since 2016, there's been a 22% increase in the number of international students. And in that year, there was 270,000 international students. Okay, so there are kind of 3 different routes to studying in Canada. The first being universities. So there are 120 universities in Canada. And this is not that great a number, so it's very competitive. And they also require very high attainment. So if you're averaging around 80%, then a university is a good option. But again, it's very, very expensive. The second option is a government college. There are 70 of these, so even more competitive. And again, you need higher attainment. But the competition for the government colleges is the biggest issue. And thirdly, you've got private colleges. And the colleges that I'm going to be talking about in a minute are all private colleges. There are over 500 of them in Canada, which means that they're highly more accessible than the other 2 options, and they're also a lot more affordable. So all of the courses that I'll talk about range from around 9,000 to 12,000 Canadian US dollars for a year's tuition. So why study in our colleges? The colleges shown here, we've got the European School of Aesthetics, the Commonwealth College, and the Liaison College. All of these colleges offer vocational courses, so they're oriented around the industry that you would then be looking to work in. Secondly, we've got small class sizes, so should you want to go study in a university, you'll probably be sat in a lecture theatre of maybe 200 or 300 other students, whereas in our colleges, you'll be sat in a classroom no bigger than this one, maybe 20 other students, or 20 to 1 is the student-to-teacher ratio. And lastly, we've got some exceptional professors, and all the instructors is highly professional, and they're all experts in their field. Okay, so the first college is the European School of Aesthetics, established in 1983, and it focuses on beauty and wellness, well-being, and there's a whole range of courses for if you're interested in medical science or nursing, healthcare, anything of the like. The one course I will talk about mostly, but as you can see there are other ones here, and you can see more on our website and in our brochures, but is the aesthetics course. So it's a 14-month course, and it basically teaches you across the board everything to do with beauty and wellness. So you'll have things like hair removal, makeup, becoming a nail technician, and all of these different skills will then set you up really well to perhaps become an assistant to a dermatologist in a hospital. You could be an entrepreneur and have your own nail shop, have your own makeup studio. As I said at the start, the reason to come to our colleges is because they're all vocational. So you don't just learn in the classroom, but you actually practice practically. You get to implement your skills whilst you're at our colleges, so that it's perfect for when you leave and go into the workforce. So the next college is the Commonwealth College. It's been running for over 30 years now, and it focuses in culinary arts. But again, there are also courses in hospitality, business accounting, and office administration. The main one I will talk about, though, is the culinary arts program, which is 16 months long, and like the aesthetics course, it covers like across the range everything you need to know to go into the culinary arts industry. So you won't just be learning about how to cook the food and the nutrition behind the food, but you'll also learn about the health and safety aspects, the food costings, menu design, so that should you not only want to be a chef, but you might want to start your own restaurant, you have those skills available to you. So it's a perfect course if you're anything interested in working in the hospitality industry, the restaurant industry, tourism. These are all very relevant industries if you want to work in culinary arts. These are two other courses in the Commonwealth College, but whilst you just have a look at that. The Aesthetics School and the Commonwealth College are both based in Manitoba. So this is a city that you might not have heard of. It's not as big as the likes of Toronto or Ottawa, but that's not a reason not to go there. Economically, it's got a very positive outlook going forward, so the unemployment rate is due to fall to 4% by the year 2021. And alongside, there's going to be 180,000 new jobs. So when you come to Manitoba to study, and then you're going to get a permanent residency, you'll be looking to stay in the same city. So it's very important that there are jobs available to you in the city. So Manitoba has got loads of jobs available should you want to get permanent residency there. Next is the Liaison College. It's not based in Manitoba or Winnipeg. It's in fact based in Toronto, Ontario. And we have 9 different campuses across the city. So should you want to live in the central area of Toronto or a bit more on the outskirts where it's a little bit quieter, you can decide that for yourself and make that happen. So again, this one focuses in culinary arts. And the Liaison College has had over 20,000 graduates since establishment. And it's also the largest producer of chefs in Ontario. So Ontario is one of the most populous states in the whole of Canada, and Liaison produces the highest number of chefs, which is quite an impressive feat. Also, our teacher, or one of our teachers, Michael Elliott, is the 3rd best in the top 100 instructors for culinary arts. So this just goes to reiterate that our teachers in our colleges are highly professional and experts in their field. So the Chef de Cuisine is one of the most popular courses, but if you're interested in working front of house, we also have hospitality courses. But the business administration one is the one I'll focus for this college. So business is a very popular course worldwide because it opens up so many different industries and teaches you such a wide range of skills. But our business administration course not only teaches you business, but entrepreneurship, marketing, accounting. So this opens up so many different roles that you could then go into and work in once you get your permanent residency. So business administration is a really good option for the Liaison College. So for all 3 of our colleges, alongside your selected course, your main course, you can opt to study an AEL, which is basically, alongside your course, you can study English. Should you want to perfect your English, perfect your grammar, increase your IELTS score, you can do this whilst you're studying. It's a really good option. It'll cost you a little bit more, but it enables you to make the most of your whole university experience and gain as many skills whilst you're in our colleges. It's very popular. It says here that there are 400+ hour programs, but there are also 200-hour programs, so if you don't want it to be quite so intensive, you can opt for a reduced number of hours to get better at English. And how much is all of this going to cost you? So these costs are all averages, but should you want to be drinking champagne for breakfast and going partying every weekend, you'll need to up the numbers a little bit. But roughly, your shared accommodation will range between 7,000 to 9,000 Canadian US dollars. And when it says shared, it doesn't mean a shared bedroom, it's a shared bathroom and shared kitchen, but you will have your own bedroom. And then you've got utilities accounted for, transport, seasonal clothing, and entertainment. So this accounts for everything you should need to be paying for. And then the typical annual living cost will be around 12,000 Canadian US dollars. But it's important to note that when you are on your student visa, you will be able to work 20 hours part-time every week. And in Canada, there's a minimum wage of 14 Canadian US dollars per hour. Accounting for the fact that you get holidays during your year studying, in your holidays you can work full-time every week. So accounting for all of that, should you want to work for 20 hours, you'll roughly cover all of your annual living costs. So it's basically just your tuition fees that will need to be added on top of that and to be paid for. So that's about it from me. I think Killen's going to discuss more about the visas and academic aspects of courses. But thank you very much for listening.
Marker.
Good afternoon everyone, I am Killen and I am here to tell you briefly about what all institutes are there in Canada and how to get admissions over there. Basically starting with that, it is all divided as Evie told you, it's divided into 3 institutes.